was too tall. So he joined up, but he wasn't put in the air crew. He trained and for 2 years and became a radio maintenance mechanic and served up in the northwest of Australia. And that was Don. And then my third brother, Locke, he joined the Air Training Corps when he was 16. He spent 2 years training to be a radio maintenance mechanic while he was in the Air Corps. And then so when he turned 18, he was able to join up officially, join the RAAF as a radio maintenance man. And he was just up at Darwin, heading to the Philippines when the Japanese surrendered. But then what did he do? He asked, he said, what'll I do? They call for volunteers to go to Japan. And we said, well, you might as well go because it'll be 2 years before they let you out, saying you just haven't done any service yet. And so he went to Japan and he stayed there for 3 tours in Japan with the occupation force, stayed in the Air Force till when he was 50 or something, they retired him. And he lives up in Maryborough now. They're all still alive, all my brothers and sisters. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister. And the little fella, Don was 6'4.5". Locke, the next one, was 6'2.5", but he weighed about 20 stone when he was in boxing trim. He's a terrible big fella. And Kay, the fourth fella, he was a rather little fellow. He was only 5'10.5", and he was the policeman. But anyway, that's only a joke. And then our sister she was the last one we had in the family. And they're still all alive, which is a good thing. And anyway, we were down at Summers, were we?
Yep.
Yeah. We got down there and then we studied, and we'd march for perhaps an hour a day and do a drill, and then we'd study and we'd do some PT, and then after tea we went in for ourselves, we went in and studied what we'd been doing during the day. We were all very keen. And I know I wasn't, most of us were, but there were some fellas there who'd been well on the way towards getting a degree and then joined the air crew. And when they were sent out there and were doing this primitive sort of simple studies, they knew they could do it on their ear, and they didn't care what marks they got, as long as, oh, we'll pass that, that's easy. And the result was, and they might have known something, because those fellas, when they come for the test at the end of that preliminary study, the ones who got over 90% in that examination, they made them all navigators. They reckon they'd be navigators. And I got over 90%, so I was made a navigator, even though you want to be a pilot. And the other fellas become pilots. And anyway, that was just an incidental there.
So you'd wanted to be a pilot from day one?
Yeah, I wanted to be a pilot. And there's all the books about, you read about those days, and they were all pilots. They didn't have many heroes being navigators. The Red Baron was a pilot, and our fellows were pilots, were the heroes. And what we had to do there, they gave you a slip of paper and you had to write on it whether P, O or G for your selection, whether you want to be a pilot, an observer or a gunner in the order of your preference. And I put P, G and then O. And then we had to come up to the door and order in order, and they called out the names at the end of one of those huts, and then you had to go in the door and walk the full length of the hut, and there were 3 officers sitting behind a trestle table, and you had to walk up, come to attention and salute and everything. They told us what we had to do, and then they looked up and they said, Campbell, yeah, Campbell. Can we ask you, Campbell, why do you put down that you would rather be a gunner than be an observer? That was the navigator, was called observer in those days. And I said, I don't think I've got the training, the education to be an observer. Oh, they said, we'll judge that, we'll decide that. We'll give you some training to be an observer. And anyway, so the upshot was They said, "Oh, you'll be an observer." And then that's when they told me, they said, we want all the ones that are observers to get over 90% in the preliminary examination, and we've just got enough. And so they said, we want you in that. And so there I had to then salute, turn around and march out, and that was an observer.
And what was going through your mind then? How did you feel about that?
Oh, I didn't feel too happy about it. I'd rather be a pilot. But you just had to do whatever they told you. They drummed into you by then that you accepted, I think. And there were two fellows that were there. They were twins. And they came out and they were very upset.